He started the season on the disabled list, but has been red hot since coming off the shelf. Carlos Beltran in center. Cliff Floyd with a couple of hits last night. Mike Piazza knocked in 4. Doug Minkiewicz with the game-winning home run off LaTroy Hawkins. Chris Woodward gets a start at third for David Wright. Kaz Matsui's at second, and Chris Benson is the pitcher.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Rico. Jason DuBois getting the start in left field today. Corey Patterson in center. Jeremy Burnitz in right. Ramirez, Perez, Hairston, and Lee across the infield. And Michael Barrett behind the plate for Greg Maddux.
306 career wins.
His numbers against the Brewers last Thursday. Right at 100 pitches, his highest pitch count of the season.
And he's ready to work to Jose Reyes, a switch hitter, and he fouls the first pitch back. 4 strike 1. Mets have won 5 of 6. And we mentioned off the top the Cubs have dropped 8 of their last 9. The 0-1 is hit in the air down the left field line and just out of play. How about this, partner? 77 degrees at game time.
Wow, beautiful day here in Chicago. Great night for a ball game.
Here comes Maddux. That's high. Make it 1-2.
The first 3 pitches of the game have all been up in the strike zone or up out of the strike zone. Not sure whether that's by design or whether Maddux is just having trouble with his release point here in the early going.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Maddux. His 22nd strikeout of the year.
And it very well could have been by design. Jose Reyes, a very good runner. His game is slap the ball on the ground and use his legs, and with that in mind, Greg Maddux goes up in the zone, tries to get him to hit the ball in the air, and in this case swings right through it.
Well, we'll keep that approach in mind the next time Reyes comes up. See what Maddux has up his sleeve. Now working to Mike Cameron, who's 1 for 6 with a home run against Maddux. So Mike Cameron has played in 5 games and has 10 hits. 2 hits in each game. And hits in his final 2 at bats last night. Maddox's career record against the Mets, 33-16 with a 3.29 ERA, 13 complete games. And now it's 3-0. Carlos Beltran on deck. And now 3-1. Greg Maddux has 246 wins since the start of 1991, most in the major leagues. Tom Glavine, former teammate of Greg Maddux in Atlanta, he's now with the Mets. He's second on that list. Cameron gets a 1-out walk.
Big numbers against all those teams on the list, but the Mets at the very top with the 33 victories that you talked about. Really the only team he's had any kind of trouble with at all, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Right off the bat, Cameron running, got a great jump, and he's saved by a long shot. Michael Barrett did not have a shot at Cameron. First stolen base and first attempt this year for Cameron.
We talked repeatedly in the ball game last night about the Cubs attempting to steal off of Mike Piazza, not the pitcher. Tonight the Mets are going to try to run on Greg Maddux, not so much Michael Barrett, but Maddux has had a lot of problems in his career holding runners on base. More concerned with getting the hitter out.
Lee's going to have to hurry and cannot get to it in time. Beltran reaching. So Lee able to knock it down, not able to corral it.
Well, Derek Lee generally has such soft hands that when he does not field the ball cleanly, it drops very close to where he can recover, get the ball, and feed his pitcher covering first base. But that time Hit off the heel of his glove and got just far enough away.
And that's his first error of the year. So the Mets with runners at the corners and one out for Cliff Floyd.
And Beltran, obviously another stolen base candidate for these Mets. They've got some speed up and down this lineup.
They also have a lot of thump up and down the lineup. Leading the National League with 43 home runs. In fact, the Cubs are second in the league. Cliff Floyd lofts one to right. Burnett's coming in. Might have a shot here. Here's the throw, and in fact, Cameron's going to hold at third. Well, the Mets respecting the arm of Jeremy Burnett. 2 down in the inning.
You know, sometimes it's not so much the depth of the fly ball, but the momentum of the outfielder. And you can see Jeremy Burnett charging in, fields the ball, one crow hop and a quick throw to the plate. No chance for Cameron to advance, nor for Beltran to tag at first and go to second. I mean, you can have a fly ball that same depth as that one, but have the outfielder standing underneath it or perhaps backpedaling, and then Cameron perhaps would have tried to score, but not with Jeremy Burnett charging that ball the way he did.
Mike Piazza last night hit career home run number 384. It was a first inning 3-run homer off John Lester, who, by the way, was optioned back to AAA Iowa today. Sergio Mitre recalled from the minors. He was scheduled to start tonight. Mitre's last start was on Thursday, but he'll go into the Cubs bullpen. Of course, one of the first things, there's Sergio, we do when we come to the ballpark, go into the Cubs clubhouse, check the posted lineup. Cubs also put their extras and their bullpen on that list. Well, the last few days, the bullpen not on that list because it's changed so much. Mitre struggled out of the gate. Thinks he's settled down a little bit. And the latest addition to the Cubs bullpen. The 2-1 to Piazza. Big swing and a miss. Way out in front. 2-2.
This is one of those great matchups. Two guys that are probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame. They faced each other 60 times throughout their respective careers. In 60 at-bats against Greg Maddux, Mike Piazza has drawn 1 base on balls. They're very familiar with each other. They know what they've done to each other in the past. Maddux knows how he's gotten Piazza out.
Gets him out there on the foul tip for the strikeout. 2 Ks in the inning. Good job to get out of it. Cubs coming up when we return. Cubs will bat here in the first inning against right-hander Chris Benson. Let's check out Dusty Baker's starting lineup. Cubs come in at 13 and 18, 1-3 on this homestand. Patterson, Perez, Ramirez 1 through 3. Derek Lee had a hit last night, so he's hit in 19 of his last 20. Burnett's in right. Michael Barrett back at the plate. Jason DuBois with his second start this year against a right-hander. Hairston and Maddux go 8 and 9.
And the Mets defensively, Floyd, Beltran, and Cameron across the outfield. Woodward getting a start at third base today. Reyes at short, Matsui at second, Doug Mitkevich at first base, and Mike Piazza behind the plate for right-hander Chris Benson.
30 years old, 6'4", 205 pounds, acquired from the Pirates at the trade deadline last year as Patterson bunts one over the screen.
Career numbers against the Cubs, has allowed 11 home runs in his 15 starts against the Cubs. As I mentioned at the top of the show, very much a power pitcher. Everything works off of his fastball. Not really mastered the off-speed pitches as of yet. Has a good curveball on occasion. Good slider on occasion. Occasionally will have a good changeup, but if he's got his good fastball, he's got a chance to pitch a good ball game.
May not be the most popular person in his own family. His wife Anna has grabbed some headlines the last couple of years. High fly ball to left, and it's Cliff Floyd under it for out number 1. And of course, now with Chris Benson in New York, I have a feeling they'll be on page 6 a few times this year.
Do you think so? There's a scouting report on Chris Benson. I mentioned the 4-seam fastball in the low to mid 90s. He's been working on a 2-seamer to try to sink the ball in on righties when he needs a ground ball in a double play situation, and still working on his off-speed stuff. Occasionally he'll nibble around the strike zone, fall behind in counts, and when he does that and has to come in with that straight fastball, you can get to him.
Well, the first 2 Cub hitters trying to bunt their way on. He had a hit in 4 trips last night, also walked and scored a run. Gobbled up by Matsui. 2 down. On this homestand for the Cubs through the first 4 games, they've scored 9 runs. 8 have come on home runs. Cubs are first in the National League in slugging, but 14th in on-base percentage. And lately really has been an all-or-nothing offense. Ramirez has hit in 6 straight, 375 during the streak, and facing a former Pirate teammate here tonight. Well, the Mets are second in the league in runs. The Cubs right now are 11th.
I think a lot of the offensive struggles of the Cubs have been a direct byproduct of everybody trying to do too much. A lot of early pitch swinging in at bats, not getting good pitches to handle, swinging at pitchers' pitches, getting themselves out. And it's just a natural reaction when a team is struggling. Everybody wants to be the guy to jumpstart the ball club.
The 2-1 on the way, now 2-2. The other problem has been the Cubs have relied way too heavily on tonight's cleanup man, Derek Lee. Slow wind up for Benson, and the 2-2 pitch is bounced fair to Woodward. Long throw to Minkiewicz, and Benson works a perfect first inning. After 1 from Wrigley on a beautiful night, no score.
Maybe this isn't the best time to say it, but I think you're really beautiful.
Well, I've always been attracted to you too, Paul.
Wait, hold on one sec, babe. Excuse me?
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest, the airline committed to serving Chicago. From Midway Airport to cities in the West for just $79 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
At Geico.com, you can handle all your car insurance needs online. It's so easy, a caveman could do it.
Seriously, we apologize. We had no idea you guys were still around.
Yeah, next time maybe do a little research.
Gentlemen, are we ready to order?
I'll have the roast duck with the mango salsa. I don't have much of an appetite, thank you.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So how much more for the automatic?
Oh, right now it's free. No charge.
Free automatic transmission, dude, that's clutch.
No, you see, it's a free automatic.
I know, it's clutch.
It's a free automatic.
Trust me, it's clutch.
For a limited time, get into a new 2005 Ford Focus with 0% financing or $2,000 cash back, and we'll throw in an automatic transmission absolutely free.
Clutch-o-matic.
Hey there, Pat Boyle and Carrie Sayers here with you. Coming up tonight after Cubs postgame live, we look at the difficulties LaTroy Hawkins has had so far this season. Could it be that the Cubs' big man is tipping his pitches?
And we catch up with former Sox manager Jerry Manuel, who's now coach for the Mets. We'll get his thoughts about his former team's hot start.
Also, Nomar updates us on his rehab.
Plus, the fridge has his cake and eats it too. Join us tonight after Cubs postgame live.
Well, some fans still filing in here at Wrigley Field. Second inning. And Doug Minkiewicz against Greg Maddux. Minkiewicz with the game-winning homer last night off a former Twins teammate LaTroy Hawkins. Minkiewicz with 6 home runs. His career high in home runs, 15. So off to a good start in the power department for Minkiewicz. Drives one to right. Burnitz went back, now coming in, and he makes a catch. Dusty Baker asked about LaTroy Hawkins and had some interesting things to say today. Doug Minkiewicz had an interesting thing to say after the game last night. The Geico Direct quote, "That's the first time I hit a home run and felt guilty about it." It's because Minkiewicz was a teammate of LaTroy Hawkins, got along very well, and of course the fans letting LaTroy know how frustrated they are. I guess there's been some speculation out there, and whenever a guy struggles like Hawkins has, is he tipping pitches? Dusty Baker says no, they don't think he's tipping pitches. And last year that might have been an issue, but again, they don't think that's the problem this year. I think the main problem is his fastball has leaked back over the plate, and guys have gotten some really good swings on him. 1-1 on Chris Woodward. And we're going to do a little demonstration up here in the booth. Speaking of tipping pitches, Bob, we hear about it a lot, that guys often tip pitches. It probably happens more than people think.
It really does, and a lot of times pitchers don't even realize they're doing it. There are a variety of different things that a pitcher can do to let a hitter know what's coming, even as far as taking the ball from behind his back. If he brings it up and you can see the back of his hand, he's going to throw a fastball. If he has his hand turned and you can see white, it's going to be a breaking ball. Now when he goes into his glove, a lot of times when a pitcher changes his grip from a fastball to a breaking ball or a splitter, you'll see some movement in the fingers of the glove. I mean, I've seen pitchers in the major leagues that actually would move this finger on the outside of the glove when they threw a breaking ball, letting the hitter know that something was coming. It's been known in the past sometimes when a pitcher threw a fastball, he would take his glove back over his head in the windup. When he was going to throw a breaking ball, he stopped at his chin. And I'll tell you, with videotape nowadays, it's hard to believe that any pitcher would still be tipping his pitches. Because you can go into that video room and break down a tape frame by frame by frame to see every movement that a pitcher has as he's going into his glove. Does he wiggle his glove? Is he turning his glove one direction or the other as he digs for that grip on the off-speed pitch? And you can see it very clearly on the videotape. But as I said, a lot of times pitchers don't even know they're doing it when they get out there to the mound.
Pretty interesting stuff. And while teams try to figure out if other pitchers are tipping pitches, yeah, they will try to figure out if their guys are tipping pitches as well. Nice demonstration.
That's a nice glove. Just showed up here in the booth today. I may have to go home with me.
One strike on Matsui. Well, the other thing about it, it helps a hitter a whole lot to know what's coming, but you still have to put the bat on the ball.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We stand around the cage during batting practice every day, and guys are taking their cuts off of a coach throwing 55 miles an hour, and they foul balls off the top of the cage. They beat balls into the ground. And just because you know what's coming, it's not a guarantee that you're going to hit it hard. But it certainly helps.
One strike pitch, and Matsui. Fans on strike 2. Chris Woodward with a 1-out single, first hit for either team tonight. Matsui 1 for his last 11. The 1 was a home run in the second, a wind-aided home run before the second rain delay last night.
You know, talking about a pitcher tipping his pitches, Len, excuse me, there's usually 1 or 2 guys, sometimes more than that, on every team that are very adept at eyeballing that pitcher, watching his every move out there on the mound. Sometimes it's a coach. A lot of times it'll be a pitcher on a day that he's not throwing. And they will eyeball that pitcher until they see something, and they'll alert the hitters to it. And Sandy Alomar been around the game a long time. He's seen a little bit of everything in this game. I'm sure he's keeping a close eye on opposing pitchers this season.
3 strikeouts for Maddux, who is as good as anyone studying opposing hitters. We've talked about that before. Chris Benson, a career 119 hitter, 6 extra base hits, all doubles. Almost hit him.
When I was managing the Diamondbacks, Steve Finley was tremendous at watching opposing pitchers, and actually had a pitcher in the National League. He told his teammates, watch for the vein in his forearm to pop out. That means he's going to throw a changeup. Now, I don't know what you do if the pitcher wears long sleeves that particular day, but of course in Arizona we had climate-controlled conditions, and most of the pitchers came in there in short sleeves, and sure enough, Steve Finley faced this pitcher late in the ball game, saw the vein pop out in his forearm, and hit a changeup out of the ballpark for a game-winning home run.
There you go. 1-2 on Benson. The pitch, swing and a miss, and a strikeout, number 4 for Maddox. After an inning and a half from Wrigley, still 0-0. Complete sports coverage every night on Jim Beam Sports Night. Coming up tonight after Cubs postgame live, Cubs and Sox highlights. Join Pat and Kerry for Jim Beam Sports Night tonight after Cubs postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Derek Lee batting cleanup tonight. Takes ball 1. Well, you know, we actually did some research. That's actually the Len Barker Bob Apodaca fan club, but they also love the Cubs. Swing and a miss.
That's my nephew Tim and your cousin Larry and Uncle John.
No, we appreciate it, fellas.
Bob Apodaca. That's a good baseball name.
Yeah. Pitching coach for the Rockies. 2-1 on Derek Lee. 21 walks, 21 strikeouts on the year. He has started every game. This would be game number 32 for the Cubs. And the pitch, 2-2. How about this? I mean, we actually talked about this off the air the other day. It seems like every starting pitcher Derek Lee has seen, he's had a lot of success against, but not tonight. 0 for 14 with 2 walks and 8 strikeouts against Chris Benson. 2-2, make it 0 for 15 with 9 strikeouts.
Well, sometimes there's just a pitcher that you don't pick up the ball well out of his hand. You don't see rotation on the pitch. For whatever reason, Chris Benson has really had Derek Lee's number. It's a little slider out over the plate, dropping straight down. Derek swings over the top of it. Well, there's usually at least 1 or 2 in the league that you just can't figure out.
Well, Jeremy had a couple of hits, an RBI, scored a run, but it was his catch, robbing Cliff Floyd of extra bases everybody was talking about. Leaping grab in right field. That was in the 7th inning. Wind and the 2-0. A strike to make it 2-1. Good eye, 3-1 on Burnett. Michael Barrett on deck. He had a 3-run homer to tie it last night. Base hit right field for Burnett. 3rd hit of the series. Change the way you experience television with Sony's high definition TV, available at your local Sears store. So Burnett's the first base runner tonight for the Cubs. Chris Benson's first start lasted 4 2/3 innings against the Phillies last Thursday. Gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, struck out 6, got a no decision. He made just 1 rehab start on April 29th. Strained right pectoral muscle, put him on the disabled list at the beginning of the year.
Well, Well, this guy has the potential to be a horse in the rotation. He went 6 innings or more in 24 of his 31 starts last year. And actually, over the course of his career, September has been his best month. He's a strong finisher.
Long pause and a quick throw.
Well, teams that play the Mets this year are going to see a lot of this. I said it last night. I think it's Willie Randolph's attempt to try to slow down the opposing runners. Give Mike Piazza as much of an assist back there behind the plate as he possibly can.
Here's a pitch to Barrett, and that's fouled away right side. I mentioned Benson was acquired by the Mets from the Pirates at the end of July in 2004. Signed a 3-year contract in November. Club option for 2008. Burnett's not running this time. Taylor made, but bad hop gets past Reyes. Cubs get a huge break. Instead of 2 outs and the inning ending, it's a hit for Barrett. Well, the Cubs are in business. Boy, if he gets a good hop, that is an easy double play.
Taylor made double play ball, tomahawking a high breaking ball. That second hop just shot over the left shoulder of Jose Reyes into center field. Big break right there for the Cubs in the early going, seeing if Jason Du Bois can take advantage here.
Du Bois getting a rare start against a right-handed starter. His second such start. 9th overall here in 2005. Todd Hollinsworth has been struggling, 0 for his last 11. Hollinsworth, by the way, 0 for 9 against Chris Benson.
You mentioned Du Bois not getting very many at-bats against right-handers, but he's done well when he's faced them. 3 for 7 against right-handed pitching with a home run, a couple RBIs. 6 for 24 against left-handed pitchers.
Good RBI opportunity here for Du Bois. Just stay out of that double play.
I think it's important to remember that Jason Du Bois has been a guy that played every day in the minor leagues, regardless whether it was a right-handed pitcher or left-handed pitcher. Over 400 at-bats a couple times in the minor leagues. A few other years between 350 and 400 at-bats. So he was facing righties and lefties every day in the minor leagues.
The 0-1 pitch, now 0-2 on Du Bois.
But that being said, I understand Dusty's philosophy of trying to protect the young players, put them in there in situations where they match up well against the opposing pitcher. Chris Benson, a power pitcher. Jason Du Bois, a good fastball hitter.
Piazza moving toward the outside corner. And the 0-2 is off the plate. Well, Todd Hollinsworth, if you look at his numbers, 90 at-bats, 7 RBIs. Du Bois coming in with 31 at-bats and 9 RBIs.
Well, they're going to need both these guys to swing the bat well before the season's over. Whether one of them steals the job out there outright or they continue to split it, they're going to need some offensive production out of that position.
In the hole, Reyes knocks it down. They get an out at second, but cannot turn the double play. So Du Bois knocks in Burnett's. Well, very good defensive play. Great range from Jose Reyes to get 1 out. And the Cubs lead 1-0.
Ball looked like it was headed through into left field for a clean base hit, but Reyes out of nowhere makes the diving catch, and Matsui attempts to turn the double play, but Du Bois got out of the batter's box quickly, knowing that if he beats that relay throw, Cubs are on the board.
Yeah, you talk about motivation to run just a little bit harder. You know, if you reach first, you're going to get an RBI.
Those are usually the best times you get on a hitter down that first baseline. Either that or that ball hit in the hole where they know the shortstop's going to have to make that long throw. That's generally when you get the best times down that first baseline. Sniffing that hit.
Du Bois now with 10 RBIs. Jerry Hairston has just 1. Has been used a lot in the leadoff spot.
Hairston trying to make some adjustments. Talking with Dusty Baker and Gene Kleins, a lot of his best shots are foul down the third baseline. Just a little too quick with the bat, gets out in front, hits the ball extremely hard, but unfortunately foul, and then he's behind in the count and really has to go to battle. Trying to get him to go to the big part of the field more often.
We'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching in Chicago on RCN Cable Channel 37. Great to have you with us tonight. Two-strike pitch, and Hairston fans 4-strike 3. Cubs get on the board. Want to be a Walgreens celebrity bat kid? Then send your name, age, gender, address, phone number, and parent or guardian signature to WGN Radio. You have until August 29th to enter. Winners will be randomly selected. Good luck. Partner, I know you're writing down that information. I'm sorry to tell you, you're a little too old to get in on it.
Darn. That's a lot of work, I'll tell you. I mean, the bat kids that get to come out here for the promotion you just mentioned, that's a lot of fun. But it should be pointed out that the real bat boys that show up here every day, they have a lot of work to do. They get the bats out to the bench, all the equipment out to the bench. Got to hustle out there between innings, clean up all the pine tar rags and the donuts and the weighted bats. But they love it.
The 0-2, and he got him. Maddox has struck out Reyes twice. Everything was up in that first at bat. And Maddox really seems to have Reyes confused here tonight.
Well, a veteran pitcher like Greg Maddox can confuse a lot of young hitters. Variety of sinking fastballs and change-ups, changing speeds, changing eye level. Reyes probably feels like he's seen about 15 different pitches right now, and Maddox has thrown all 2 seamers, 1 cutter, a couple of change-ups.
He walked Cameron in the first inning. 1-strike pitch, swung on and missed. Cubs will go with a 4-man rotation for the next 2 weeks. Mark Pryor will start tomorrow afternoon against Victor Zambrano. Glendon Rush will pitch the opener in Washington. Carlos Zambrano will come back after 5 full days of rest and pitch Saturday night. After throwing 136 pitches and completing Sunday's game. Victor Zambrano struggled with his command. 21 walks already. And he'll start tomorrow for the Mets. High drive to right. Burnett's drifting into the corner, and he has it. Watch live Cubs games right on your computer. Sign up for MLB.TV now exclusively at Cubs.com. MLB.TV means live baseball. You can see the wind direction tonight, not blowing that hard, but left to right. We've talked about the outfield here, not easy to play with all the nooks and crannies, and Jeremy Burnitz has made a lot of nice defensive plays out in right, including the great leaping catch last night.
He's saved the pitching staff countless runs already this season with his defensive plays in right field.
High in the air, Burnitz and Patterson. In fact, Jeremy looked at Corey and said, "You going to take it?" Corey's saying, "Yep, I will take it." 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. Cubs leading 1-0. The Moto Razor V3. Greg Maddox swinging at the first offering from Chris Benson and fouling it away. Cubs leading 1-0 here in the 3rd inning. Maddox has pitched well tonight. 1 strikeout off his season high, struck out 6 in his first start. Right back to Benson. That'll bring up Corey Patterson, who flied to left in the first inning. He's now 6 for his last 39.
Sometimes that's a blessing in disguise to have your starting pitcher make that out, get back into the dugout quickly rather than reach base and have to run the bases during the course of the inning. You always like to get base runners and take your chances on scoring runs, but when a guy is as locked in as Greg Maddux has been in the early going today, you'd much rather just have him come in, towel off, have a drink of water, sit down, and think about the next half inning.
The 1-0-2 Patterson is fouled away. This week's Cubs Smart Move Award was presented before the game tonight to Corey Patterson. Comcast Sportsnet and Fidelity Investments congratulate Corey on a great week on the field. High in the air, that's deep. Cameron back, looking for some room. He will run out of room. A home run for Patterson, his 7th, and it's 2-0. Second career home run for Patterson against Chris Benson. So the 10th run on this homestand, the 9th run coming on the home run for the Cubs.
Good look at the swing of Corey Patterson. Mike Cameron in right field, a very solid defensive outfielder in his own right. He knows where that wall sticks out there. Look at him trying to find enough room to somehow get back there in the vines and make a catch, but it wasn't to be. Corey Patterson slugging his 7th home run of the season.
That is a foul ball as Perez tried to shoot one down the line. Yeah, Cameron was looking like, okay, can I climb the vines? Can I get on the basket? What am I going to do here to go get this one?
Well, he knew if he went directly to the wall in the area where it goes back, he was going to be trapped right there. And had the ball dropped back in that area, he wouldn't have been able to get back there quickly enough. So he just kind of worked his way along the wall there, following the flight of the ball until he realized he wasn't going to have a play anyway.
Gonna bust him inside, and Perez lines it into right.
You can see him go back. If he goes straight back to the wall right there and the ball goes into the well, he knows he won't be able to get back to it, so he just kind of works his way along the wall, trying to figure out where that ball is going to come down, and it didn't matter.
By the way, Corey with his 7th home run. All of his home runs this year have been solo homers. Runner moving. Pitch is a strike. Piazza with a good throw, but Perez getting in. Nafee with his first stolen base.
Well, this is about as good a job as Mike Piazza can do. You can see Nafee got a good jump, a strong throw from Piazza, actually right on the money, but nowhere near in time.
Busted bat bouncer Woodward looks Perez back and throws out Ramirez. And it'll bring up Derek Lee. Comes with a couple of runs here early on to take the lead. It's interesting, you sometimes hear it, well, you hear it in every sport. But you also hear it in baseball. People say, well, the Cubs look flat. Their offense looks flat. When you are not scoring runs, you always look flat.
And when you don't have base runners, you don't have opportunities. Guys are just taking their swings and taking a U-turn back to the dugout, or taking a right turn at first base, which is not a good thing. You look flat. I guarantee you the guys are trying just as hard on those days as the days when they hit the ball, run the bases, and score bunches of runs.
Pitch to Derek Lee. Popped up. Minkiewicz will make the catch in front of the side wall to end the inning. Corey Patterson with his 7th home run of the year, and the Cubs now lead 2-0. Fourth inning now from Wrigley. The Cubs leading the visiting Mets 2-0. Floyd, Piazza, and Minkiewicz against Greg Maddux, who has K'd 5 through 3. He works to Floyd. Strike one. Now, he admitted he started to feel a little bit of pressure during a hitting streak that got to 20 games. Cliff Floyd's streak ended on Friday in Milwaukee. It ended on the road. He was a teammate of Luis Castillo in Florida when Castillo hit in 35 straight in 2002. But just imagine the kind of attention Floyd would have gotten in New York had he gotten over 30 games. I just think the DiMaggio streak, I mean, I really can't see anybody getting to that again. It's just too difficult to continue. I mean, Derek Lee only had 3 chances to continue his hitting streak the other day. That's one of the reasons why it ended at 18. Circumstances, luck, I mean, just everything playing into it. And, well, you just have one day where you're not really locked in, and that's it. It's over.
And as a hitting streak gets deeper and deeper and the games start to pile up, you have to talk about it every day. And the more you talk about it, the more you think about it, and the more you think, the less your chance of getting that base hit that you need to continue the streak. Walter Alston used to say a full mind is an empty bat. The more you think, the more trouble you get in up there at the plate. You see the pitch and react to what you see.
Analysis paralysis.
Yep.
2-2 on Floyd. The pitch. And it's full. Floyd was in the on-deck circle when the Mets made their final out in the 9th. The streak ended. And it's only natural to think, what if? I believe it was Rick Manning who had a walk-off hit for Milwaukee when Paul Molitor's streak ended in 1987. Swing and a miss. Maddux tying his season high already. We're only in the 4th. It is 6th strikeout. Let's get our Aflac trivia question for tonight. On this date in 1999, which current Cub had 2 grand slams and a 2-run homer in the same game? 6 years ago. All right. It's a pretty healthy night.
It's a pretty healthy month. You know, people who don't follow baseball real closely would look at Greg Maddux on the mound and say, geez, how does this guy get people out? You know, but if you watch those radar gun readings.
It's Derek Lee unassisted.
Maddux will be all over the place. He'll throw one fastball at 88. Then he'll throw the next one at 82. Then he'll throw a change up at 78. Then he'll throw a change up at 83. Then he'll sneak another one in there at 87 or 88. He just gives the hitter so many different looks, so many different speeds, different locations. He's not an overpowering pitcher by any stretch of the imagination. Strikeouts are not important to him whatsoever. He would much rather get a hitter out with 2 pitches than strike him out with 3. I think it's a great lesson to be learned for young pitchers out there that think they have to throw 100 miles an hour every pitch in order to get a hitter out. You don't.
How about that first ground out coming here in the 4th inning?
Very uncharacteristic of Greg Maddux to have that many fly ball outs and strikeouts and only 1 ground ball out. And we had a pitcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks who came up to the major leagues as a youngster and felt he had good stuff when he went out to take the mound, got knocked out in the 2nd inning, and we looked at the pitching chart after the game, and every fastball that he threw in the game was 92 miles an hour.
No change.
No change whatsoever.
Yep. Greg Maddux settling in. He has retired 8 in a row, has 6 Ks through 4. 2-0 Cubs. On this date in 1999, which current Cub had 2 grannies and a 2-run homer in the same game. Our Aflac trivia question for tonight. Curious to see the answer. Nomar with Boston against the Seattle Mariners. Knocked in 10 runs. 2-0 Cubs, bottom of the 4th. One strike pitch to Burnitz. Check swing, and he fouled it back. So Nomar in his career with a 10 RBI game, that game against Seattle, also an 8 RBI performance. Boy, that took a strange hop at the end, but Mankiewicz able to field it. Well, Tom Glavine, watching him throw his side session today, a couple of hours before the game. Off to a slow start this year. He's 1-4 with a 6.87 ERA. How about this? He's given up 50 hits in under 37 innings. The Mets announced yesterday that Glavine will stay on his regular schedule. The Mets have an off day like the Cubs do on Thursday. So Glavine will pitch ahead of Pedro Martinez. Well, how about those numbers for Tom Glavine? Pedro will be pushed back a day. The Mets are going to try to find extra rest for Martinez whenever they can on the schedule. So what's interesting about it is it looks like Pedro will end up facing the Yankees the following Friday at Shea Stadium.
Won't that be fun?
Yeah, looked like Pedro was going to miss the Yankees until the Mets adjusted their schedule and their rotation. So I'm sure there will be a few "Who's your daddy" chants, even though it's at Shea. I'm sure some Yankee fans will sneak into Queens. Pedro 4-1 with a 3.06 earned run average. Well, the Mets spent a lot of money in the offseason. Went out and got Beltran and Martinez. They wanted Carlos Delgado. He ended up with Florida. So then they made the acquisition to get Doug Mankiewicz.
You know, I watched Glavine throw some of his side session earlier today as well, and it's just amazing. I don't know if this guy has broken a sweat yet in his major league career. So cool and calm and collected and in control. He just never looks like he's working very hard out there on the mound.
One hopper to Reyes, sets, throws, and gets Michael Barrett. We talked about it last night. Jose Reyes, a very good defensive shortstop. And that's part of the reason why he's there, and Matsui made the switch to second.
Covers a lot of ground, has a very quick throwing motion. He gets the ball over across the infield in a hurry. He's got a great throwing arm, but also a very quick release. The ball is in and out of his glove in a hurry. Du Bois with an RBI and a fielder's choice. His first at bat.
That's deep to left, and it is in the basket. A home run. Jason DuBois with his 4th home run of the year. 3-0.
Jason DuBois taking every advantage of this opportunity to get some at-bats here in this ball game. Gets one just into the basket down the left field line. Benson mad at his glove for that home run.
Now it's Hairston. 3-0 Cubs. The Cubs now with 42 home runs, 1 behind the National League leading Mets. Hit hard. Squib to Matsui. Minkevich able to get back to first in time to accept the throw. DuBois with a 2-out solo home run. Cubs with 2 big flies tonight. Well, the home run ball has not been a problem for the Cubs this year. It's manufacturing runs. It's 3-0. Tomorrow, the red-hot White Sox look to continue their torrid start when they face Aubrey Huff and the Devil Rays, followed by White Sox post-game live. White Sox Devil Rays tomorrow at 1 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. 3-0 Cubs. Greg Maddux has allowed 1 hit, no runs through 4 innings. Facing the Mets third baseman tonight, Chris Woodward, who's played all over the diamond already. It's kind of the Mets version of Placido Polanco. First base, shortstop, third base. He's even played in the outfield this year. A comebacker base hit, so Woodward has the only 2 hits for the Mets. It'll bring up Kaz Matsui, switch hitting second baseman.
First time Woodward has seen Greg Maddux in his career, so now a perfect 2 for 2. Just takes that sinker right back up the middle. Maddux will probably be upset with himself for not making that play. It's a ball that he usually at least knocks down.
Smothered by Barrett right at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Hey, wanted to mention coming up Friday will be on Comcast Sportsnet Plus as the Cubs play at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. for the first time against the Washington Nationals. Broadcast time 6 o'clock. Again, that's on Comcast Sportsnet Plus, and you have a family situation and a positive one, a graduation coming up, so you're going to miss the first game of that series. And Dan Plesac will join me in the booth. Does a great job on Cubs post-game live. So you'll have a busy travel weekend, but have a great time, and we'll see you Saturday after tonight.
Those frequent flyer miles. My daughter Lacey graduating from Arizona State University this week. Very proud of her. Somewhat amazed, but very proud of her.
She has a very bright future ahead. 3-0 on Matsui. The pitcher's on deck. 3-1. And again, Glendon Rush scheduled to start on Friday, so we'll have a left-hander in the booth talking about the southpaw on the mound. A 3-2 lookout. Well, that ball deflected off an empty seat behind the Cubs dugout, kicked about 10 rows down the line, and hopefully everybody's all right.
Well, there aren't very many empty seats here tonight, but fortunately that Screaming line drive foul ball. Found an empty seat.
The 3-2 pitch, and he strikes out Matsui. Good comeback. He was 3-0 at one time. Matsui, strange series, a home run his first at bat. He's now struck out 4 straight times since the home run.
Matsui has a lot of motion in his setup at the plate. Yeah, guys that do a lot of things. You see him up on his toe, a little bit of an abbreviated leg kick, kind of jumps at the ball. Guys that have a lot of movement like that are usually susceptible to changeups, off-speed pitches, split-finger fastballs. Maddox got him to chase a pitch in the dirt that time, an off-speed pitch.
So Maddox with a new season high in strikeouts, 7. And again, he's not a guy who's interested in a lot of strikeouts. People may be surprised to hear what his career high is in strikeouts in a game, 14. Back on May 2nd, 2001 against Milwaukee.
A lot of pitchers, when they have a high strikeout total like that, they would say that they had a real good fastball or their slider was as sharp as it's ever been. But pretty good chance Maddox just had better feel that day than he does on a normal day. Had exactly the right splits between his off-speed pitches.
Bunted by Benson. Maddox got off the mound in a hurry, and we'll get it to Hairston covering first, so it's a sacrifice for Benson. 2 down in the inning.
Well, when you have a good fielder like Greg Maddox or Mike Hampton on the mound, you can take some liberties in a sacrifice bunt situation. The position players don't have to charge as hard, knowing that Maddox is going to get off the mound and be able to field the ball no matter which side of the infield it's bunted to. And that time Maddox got over in front of Derek Lee and made the play.
And it brings up Reyes, who has struck out twice. Maddox has elevated his pitches early on against Reyes. Though he talked about his defense, I think he's one of those guys you can see one time and you can just tell that he's got it. Just the way he carries himself. He's obviously a terrific athlete.
Yeah, really the only flaw in his game at this point in his career is a little over aggressiveness at the plate. Doesn't draw a lot of walks, only 4 walks on the season coming into play tonight. And you hate to take away a hitter's aggressiveness. That's probably what got him to the big leagues.
Yeah, he did not walk in April. His first walk came in his 119th plate appearance. Tapped on the ground, easy play. Derek Lee, inning over. Chris Woodward with the only 2 Mets hits, both singles off Maddox.
Why Chicago baseball fans going to U.S. Cellular this weekend to see the Orioles and White Sox will not see Sammy Sosa in the lineup for the entire series. It's all tonight after Cubs postgame live. Now we'll send it back to Len and Bob.
Carrie, thank you. Greg Maddux batting here in the 5th inning with the Cubs leading the Mets 3-0. Well, there are times you can have a bigger lead than the Cubs have tonight and not feel as comfortable as it feels because of the way the starting pitcher has pitched. Obviously, when you're at Coors Field, that's one place you never feel comfortable. But the starting pitcher really sets the tone, doesn't he?
Absolutely. And you're right on the fact there. You could have a 2-0 lead with your pitcher on the mound absolutely dealing, totally in command, and it feels like a very, very comfortable ball game. There are other games you could be up 6 or 7 runs late and not feel real good about it. But the way Maddox has thrown the ball through the early going tonight, you got to believe that 3-run lead is hopefully going to be enough.
Benson fires and a bouncer hit to Woodward. High throw, Minkiewicz able to stay on first. So it's been Benson who's gotten a lot of ground ball outs tonight.
Yeah, Woodward with plenty of time to gather himself, throw across the infield. Minkiewicz is not a very tall first baseman. Very good glove man. Woodward made him stretch that time. Had to get long toes to stay on that bag.
Chris Benson has thrown a lot of strikes here tonight, but a couple have been hit out of the ballpark. That's the thing you have to realize when you look at a guy's pitch count and the strikes and the balls, that the balls put in play are strikes. So you could have a guy throw 75–80% strikes and give up 10 hits.
Sometimes you can throw too many strikes, and there's a difference between throwing a strike right down the middle of the plate and throwing a strike on the corners.
Corey Patterson way back again. 2 home runs for Corey tonight. 4-0. The Cubs are now tied with the Mets for first in the National League in home runs. Three solo home runs for the Cubs tonight. 2 coming from Corey Patterson.
Now this one a no-doubter, a little bit of wind helping, pushing from left to right field. Corey gets full extension through the ball, carries way back in the bleachers in right field. This time Cameron doesn't even try to find that area to catch that fly ball. He knew that was way gone.
5th career 2-homer game, and the last coming in mid-September against the Pirates last year. Busted bat bouncer. Woodward charges. Solid throw that time.
Well, you can see contact was made out in front of home plate. Gets that great backspin on the ball. Tremendous carry and a little bit of a boost from the wind, but as I said before, no doubt about that one.
Ramirez has grounded out twice to third. And the pitch to Aramis. Misses for ball 1. Braves got 6 in the first inning in Colorado. They lead 6-0 in the second. Sky high, and it's Reyes and Matsui. Reyes with a catch. Inning over. Patterson with his 2nd home run tonight, including 4 VIP passes to Shed Aquarium. And starting that very day, May 27th, don't miss your chance to see crabs, Shed's newest temporary exhibit. Well, this half inning of Cubs baseball brought to you by Robert Morris College, real college for the real world. Well, Greg Maddux, a ground ball pitcher, has gotten a lot of fly ball outs tonight. And here's a fly ball hitter. Mike Cameron with the lowest ground ball fly ball ratio in the National League last year. Talk about that ratio for pitchers, but have the same numbers for hitters as well.
Maddux wanted that pitch right there. That's a big pitch, the 1-1 pitch. It swings the count either heavily in the pitcher's favor or slightly in the hitter's favor, and in this case slightly in Mike Cameron's favor. Well, when you have a hitter in a 1-2 hole, there are so many different things you can do, especially a pitcher like Greg Maddux. You can go ahead and try to finish him off on the next pitch. You can use the next pitch to set up the following pitch. You can use 2 pitches to set up the following pitch.
Two. Cameron stays alive. Last year, he became the first center fielder in Mets history to hit 30 home runs in a season. Have a feeling the guy behind him in the order tonight will become the second at some point. Carlos Beltran. Maybe this year. Swing and a miss. 8th strikeout for Maddux.
Gets him with a little slider or a cut fastball here. The hitters are so accustomed to seeing that ball, especially the right-handers, coming back into them when Greg Maddux pitches. That two-seam fastball that tails down and into a right-handed hitter. And Maddux gives him a little different look with that cutter, that little baby slider moving away.
Beltran with 6 home runs. They have all come, how about this, in games started by Pedro Martinez, including 2 on Saturday in Milwaukee. Beltran has hit .484 with 17 RBIs in Pedro Martinez's starts.
I'm sure Pedro appreciates that very much.
Oh, you bet.
The rest of the pitching staff probably feels a little left out.
You know how they match up catchers sometimes with pitchers. Pedro making sure Beltran's always in the lineup. And his career numbers at Wrigley, I tell you, I confused myself today. I had the number that Beltran had hit .510 at Wrigley in his career. High deep drive. Patterson will have plenty of room to make the catch. So I'm looking at it tonight, and the Mets notes say Beltran hitting .509 in his career at Wrigley, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, his average can't go down. He went 2 for 4 last night. But then I realized that he hit .500 last night, but he hit .510 coming in, so of course it went down. I could not understand it.
Go 2 for 4 and have your career average go down. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, it takes me a while, but I usually get it. Cliff Lloyd jammed, awkward swing, and he bounces out to Derek Lee. Maddux through 6 and is not allowed a run tonight. Just presented by Joe's Crab Shack. Get highlights of all the action, analysis from Dan Plesac, plus hear what Dusty Baker has to say. That's Cubs postgame live immediately following the ball game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. It's been all Greg Maddux for the Cubs tonight. 3 home runs for the home team. And Derek Lee still trying to get his first hit against Chris Benson. Could this be the one? Yep. Extra bases for Derek Lee, who is now 1 for 17 against Chris Benson.
Seems like when good hitters struggle, they try to go to the opposite field to get back into the game. And Derek Lee takes a pitch that was pretty much down the middle of the plate and low, drives it into the gap in right center field. That shows that you're staying on the ball, not pulling off, seeing it really well.
I want to make a note to tell Derek Lee tomorrow, did you know that was your first hit in 17 at bats? My guess, knowing Derek, is he'll say, really? Because a lot of times guys, they can tell you that they've struggled, but they don't know how much against a particular pitcher.
Well, I agree with you. I think you're right in Derek Lee's case, but there are hitters in the major leagues that would tell you to the 12th decimal point what they're hitting off a certain pitcher and be able to figure it up as they're running around the bases.
The 1-0 Burnett's flowing inside.
Even with a 4-run lead, Jeremy Burnitz will try to hit the ball to the right side of the field here to advance Derek Lee to third base and set it up for Michael Barrett and others to follow here in the inning.
We'll have some fun with George Wendt, who will sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" tonight. Chicago native.
Norm.
Also known as Norm Peterson. The 2-1. Drilled by Burnitz. This one way back. Out of here. 2-run shot. Home run balls flying out of Wrigley tonight.
getting fat offensively tonight against Chris Benson. Another fastball pretty much down the middle of the plate. Burnitz goes to the opposite field, way back into the bleachers.
This is a kind of bust-out night Cubs have been waiting for offensively. 4 home runs.
This one got very little help from the wind, if any, blowing across from left field to right field. Didn't need much help. The ball was smoked.
The 0-1, Michael Barrett lines out to Cliff Floyd. Manny Ibar, right-hander, up for the Mets.
You gotta love baseball terminology. Standing around the cage today watching the Cubs take their batting practice and teasing Michael Barrett about hitting that home run in the ball game last night. And hitting coach Gene Klein says, yeah, he put a mule kick on that one.
Du Bois did that in the 4th inning. First pitch strike. Eight hits for the Cubs, and half those hits have been home runs. Another one on the inside corner. Nothing in 2 on Du Bois. Jason with 2 RBIs tonight. Greg Maddux through 6 innings, has thrown 77 pitches, so should have a lot of gas left in the tank. Of course, the Cubs had to use their bullpen quite a bit last night. Dusty Baker had to use 5 guys after John Lester went just 3 innings. Swing and a miss. So Du Bois strikes out, 2 down in the inning. After tomorrow afternoon's series finale, the Cubs will have an off day Thursday before beginning a 5-game road trip on Friday. A quiet homestand at the plate for Jerry Hairston, 1 for 11, including 0 for 2 tonight. Well, the 4 home runs allowed by Chris Benson tonight, a career high in a category a pitcher doesn't want to hear about. Comebacker off the foot of Benson, and Hairston with an infield hit.
Ball smoked right back through the pitcher's mound. It's Benson on the outside of the right foot, ricochets high into the air. The trainer's going to come out and have a look along with Willie Randolph to make sure their starting pitcher's okay. You know, interestingly enough, if that ball had not hit Benson but hit the pitcher's rubber and bounced into foul territory, it would be a foul ball. I've seen it happen 1 time where a batter lined the box back through the mound, hit the pitcher's rubber, bounced high in the air, went into foul territory before third base, and was a foul ball.
That's right, yeah.
Was never touched in fair territory.
Boy, you had me confused again. Reminded me of the Beltran note. Reyes throws to first. Maddux beats it out. Great effort by Jose Reyes. And how about the wheels for Greg Maddux?
Well, the wheels were towing a trailer down that first base line that time. Great play by Reyes. He knows he has a pitcher running, so he's going to go ahead and make a throw anyway in the event that Maddux was not running hard down that first base line. Just enough to get there.
Now they're going to discuss the approach against Corey Patterson, who's already hit 2 home runs. Going into this series, Corey Patterson with 2 career home runs and 9 RBIs and 66 at bats against the Mets. And a couple of home runs tonight. That was the first one. Second one, he really got all of it in the 5th.
Well, the first one was just to measure the distance. The second one was just a blast.
So interesting, the career numbers for Patterson against the Mets. Those 2 home runs before this series were hit on opening day 2003 at Shea Stadium, and 7 of his 9 RBIs against the Mets came in that game. So he's had 2 big games against the Mets in his career. But hasn't done a whole lot against New York other than tonight and the opener in 03.
Well, the first 2 pitches of this at bat, they're trying to jam Corey. Cut fastball inside, then a 4-seamer inside.
High in the air to left. Cliff Floyd will make the catch. Patterson trying to get his 3rd home run tonight. Came up about 20 feet short. Home run night for the Cubs. Burnett's the latest 2-run shot. 6-0. $20,000 grand prize. Check out his essay and vote for him online. BriggsDiamondsInTheRough.com.
Well, Nicholas got to be the most popular kid in the neighborhood.
Oh,
$5,000 to refurbish a field in the neighborhood. That's great.
Only 2 hits for the Mets coming off the bat of Chris Woodward, the number 7 hitter. Maddox with a 1-1. Now 1-2 on Piazza. Mets came in tonight 3 games over 500. They haven't finished over 500 in a season since they won 82-80 in 2001. One of several teams in the National League that really fell apart in the second half. Milwaukee, Cincinnati, the Mets, all with good first halves, and they really struggled in the second half. The Mets went 44-43 before the break, 27-48 after the break. All kinds of injury problems. Swing and a miss, a strikeout, number 9 for Maddox, and at least 1 strikeout in every inning.
And once again, going to that little baby slider, kind of a cut fastball. Piazza expecting that pitch to tail back over the heart of the plate. It just keeps moving further away.
And Cavich 0 for 2. Well, if people wonder how Greg Maddux is able to locate as well as he does, lots of practice. See him sometimes just throwing balls up against a padding in between starts. It's like an NBA player shooting free throws. Just keep doing it over and over and over and over. And he's been the master at commanding all of his pitches throughout his career.
And so many times you hear pitchers nowadays talking about their mechanics. I've got a mechanical problem. My mechanics didn't feel good. I have never heard Greg Maddux use that word. I don't think he ever thinks about it. He just repeats his delivery over and over and over again, as consistently as any pitcher in the history of the game. And has changed very little since he first came to the major leagues. Still uses the same wind-up, same basic delivery.
him. Number 10. He has put on a clinic tonight.
It's that comebacker, some guys call it the off the body sinker. Started right at the left-handed hitter, tail it back over the inside corner. You get that knee lock reaction from the hitter, and the ball tails right back over the inside corner.
16th career double-figure strikeout performance for Greg Maddux. And his nemesis tonight has been Chris Woodward. Two singles. Jim Wolf, by the way, calling balls and strikes tonight. Greg Maddux with his first 10 strikeout performance since June 15th of 03 as an Atlanta Brave. Did it in Seattle in interleague play. And he walks Woodward. He had 11 strikeouts that day and struck out Mike Cameron twice. Cameron with 1 strikeout tonight.
He's had Matsui tied in knots tonight. Struck him out in the 2nd inning. Struck him out again in the 5th inning. Really had him off balance, lunging at off-speed pitches.
Again, the guest conductor tonight, George Wendt. The 7th inning stretch coming up after the 3rd out of this inning. Foul strike. Getting ready. Are you nervous? No, you're fine. Piece of cake, right, George? You've done this before. No problem. One and one. I know we've noticed with a few who've never done it before, Bob, is that they get up here, they're ready to go, and then the inning lasts about 5 minutes longer, and it's like they start really thinking about it. I know we did that. And a base hit for Matsui. So for just the 2nd time tonight, the Mets have had 2 men on at the same time. Third hit for the Mets. It's going to be Marlon Anderson to bat for Chris Benson. Anderson with a pinch hit last night is 10 for 19 pinch hitting this year.
2 for 10 as a starter, 10 for 19 off the bench as a pinch hitter. Just remarkable numbers coming off the bench.
Well, Marlon, I guess if you want to start more, start making outs as a pinch hitter.
He's too valuable off the bench to put him in the lineup.
Yeah. Ball 1 low. Mike Remlinger down in the Cubs bullpen. And a right-hander alongside is Michael Wirtz. Larry Rothschild out to chat with Greg Maddux. Cubs trying to win their 2nd game on this homestand, give themselves a chance for a 3-3 homestand tomorrow. And again, Victor Zambrano for the Mets. Mark Pryor will look for his 4th win. A 1-0 offering is a strike.
Saw that quick meeting at the mound between Larry Rothschild, Michael Barrett, and Greg Maddux. I would love to have a tape recording of what's being said out there. There's some great stories about Greg Maddux telling his pitching coach, don't worry about it on the 2-1 pitch. I'll get him to hit a foul pop up to the third base side, and he does it.
Two and one. He's always done a nice job pinch hitting. 6 home runs in the pinch for Marlon Anderson. The pitch. 3-1.
Maddux wanted that one. That's that cut fastball again on the inside corner. There's been a couple pitches in there tonight he thought he should have gotten a call on, but Jim Wolf not cooperating back there on that pitch.
Bases loaded. All this coming with 2 outs. Woodward walked, then the Matsui single, and another free pass, and that will be it. Boy, Greg Maddux fans don't want to see him come out. But Dusty Baker is going to go to the bullpen. Jose Reyes, switch hitter, will be coming up. Time for the 4th call to the bullpen. We'll be back to Wrigley. Let's get a look at Greg Maddux's final pitch, the Toyota RoboCam. This was ball 4 to Marlon Anderson. Just see a quick look into the Cubs dugout. And he knew that his night was done. So the base is loaded. Michael Wirtz facing Jose Reyes. And ball 1. 18th appearance for the right-hander Wirtz. One-0 pitch. Now 1-1. Boy, Reyes really seemed to be confused against Greg Maddux. A couple of strikeouts, a little tapper to first. Maddux really had his way with the young switch hitter. He's down in the count 1-2 against Wirtz. Kick and the pitch. Ground ball, Jerry Hairston. Inning over.
For Take Me Out to the Ball Game, George Wendt.
Chicago fans, let's stretch it out. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. So it's root for the Cubs. If they don't win, it's a shame. So it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
6-0 Cubs. Good job by Michael Wirtz to get out of the 7th inning, setting it up for George Wendt with Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Manny Ibarz, a former Cub, and he's now on for the New York Mets. George, pleasure to meet you. Great job. Good to have you up here in the booth.
Thank you very much.
Did a great job. I mean, you hit every note, unlike us.
I love to sing, baby.
We were talking during the break, and you were commenting on how everybody sings that song, and you really notice it when you're up here doing it.
Yeah, you watch the games on TV, and you just hear the guy, you know, me in this instance. But here at the park, people actually sing. I'm proud of them.
Oh,
I think they do it out of memory for Harry, don't they?
No question. No question.
Yeah.
Well, have you enjoyed watching Maddox tonight? 10 strikeouts. Boy, he was terrific.
Yeah, he was great. Boy, the fans really let Dusty have it when he came out there.
Ooh. That is a fair ball for Nathy Perez. And it will be an easy double to lead off the 7th. So what's happening? What's going on? What do you have going on these days?
Me?
Yeah.
I just love to sing. I'm doing some grand opera. No, I'm in town to do a show with some folks from Second City. We're going to do it to benefit the high jump program, which is it's a bunch of people who help out needy middle school kids who are showing some academic talent, and it gives them scholarship money to go to some of the fancier secondary schools in the area.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
There's Ramirez, runner at second with nobody out.
Speaking of the Second City, you were an alum of the Second City, mid to late 70s. Who else was coming through there about that same time?
Well, you know, Second City's it's like the Army. You never really leave. I mean, you go, you know, I was on active duty from 74 to 80. And then I went on inactive reserve, or you know, I was in the reserves, and now I still, you know, do jobs with them quite frequently. And some of the folks who were around when I was around were Shelley Long, Jim Belushi, Mary Gross, Tim Kazurinsky, Nancy McCabe Kelly, Bruce Jarko, Danny Breen, and there's others, Betty Thomas, Mert, you know, it's like I was there a long time. So there's oodles and oodles of people.
2-0 on Ramirez. Here's a pitch from Ibar, a rocket. Boy, he crushed that ball all the way past Floyd, and an RBI double. Tell you, George, great to see this offense really get it going. It's been rough here on this homestand offensively.
It's like, you know, you're waiting for a rainstorm or something, and it just won't rain one way, you know, and you know, I could say something, you know, about bodily functions, you know, constipation or something, but yeah, it sure feels good when it when it breaks loose.
When it finally starts raining.
Yes,
yeah,
right. There you go. I have to mention Second City veterans who are insane Cub fans, Larry Coben and Will Aldis. I have to mention them because they're you know, probably the only ones of all the people that I mentioned who will be watching.
Pinch runner is going to be Jose Macias for Ramirez. Well, one of my favorite things you did, the super fans, Bill Swirsky super fans on SNL. I know obviously Chicagoans love that. Now who came up with the idea? And that thing just took off. I mean, you had to be on Saturday Night Live like every week for a long time, it seemed like.
Yeah. I think the way I heard it was Bob Odenkirk and Robert Smigel. Well, certainly Robert Smigel wrote 95% of the sketches we did on Saturday Night Live. But it originated with Odenkirk and Smigel and Conan O'Brien and a few other folks who had an improv show at the Deja Vu on Lincoln Avenue. And they loved it so much that they tried to get it going on Saturday Night Live, but they could never get it over on Saturday Night Live until Joe Mantegna hosted one day. And so they did it with Joe before a Bears game, and everyone liked it. And then a few months later I hosted, and we did it again. And I was sitting in for Joe.
That's going to be the first out.
I was Bill sitting in for my brother Bob, or Bob sitting for my brother Bill. I just can't remember which. And what happened after that was Jonathan Brandmeier, Johnny B, pulled a soundbite out of it and just started running it over and over. Doppels, you know, and it just he really made it take off, Brandmeier. Doubles.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Local radio guy.
Yeah. He's actually national a bit, I think.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
He's been syndicated.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned a guy who doesn't get nearly enough credit. He was a pitch to Burnitz. That's Bob Odenkirk. Now,
yeah.
For those watching out there, if you've never seen Mr. Show, David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, it ran on HBO for about 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the funniest sketch comedy shows. It's an adult. We'll just tell you right now, it's an adult comedy show. But
yeah.
A very, very funny man. And
right.
You know, you see him pop up here and there.
Yeah, and Smigel, of course, is a legendary SNL writer at this point. And he was actually the fourth superfan, Smigel was. It was Farley, Mike Myers, myself, and Smigel. Everyone goes, who was that other guy with the mustache? Well, they all had mustaches. But.
Boy, Chris Farley really fit that mold, too. I mean, he really got into it.
Yes, he did.
Burnett's trying to find the alley, but it's slicing, and Floyd will make the catch. So 2 outs here in the 7th. We're visiting with George Wendt.
Burnitz is hitting the ball hard, eh?
Yeah.
Sure is.
Swinging a good bat.
Now, are you the kind of fan who keeps score when you go to the ballpark, or do you just like focusing on what's happening on the field?
It's I don't. I should keep score. But you know what's cool? Do you ever go to that MLB.com?
Oh, yeah.
That game day thing?
Sure.
That is perfect because it's like all there for you. You don't have to remember. Because I'm always like, what's the score? Who's up? You know, who's on deck? You know, I don't know any of that. Short attention span, person would do well to follow the game on that, as well as, of course,
yes,
the broadcast.
1-0 on Michael Barrett. Another baseball question for you. Do you like interleague play? Do you like the Cubs and Sox matching up? Just
I don't.
You don't have to be politically correct. Okay, good.
I don't, because it's gotten so ugly. I'm a South Sider, and I used to, only have to worry about who I rooted for, in the Neverland of, like, would they meet in a World Series? So it was all just kind of academic, well, I suppose I would root for the Sox in that instance, were that to ever, come before the end of the world. But now it's kind of
a little touchy. Yeah,
it is a little. It's a little icky. How about you? You guys like it?
I do. I like the Cubs playing the Red Sox and the Yankees and the White Sox. But it's the Kansas City,
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, those matchups. That.
Although you could fatten up on Kansas City this year.
That's true.
Sox did.
George, thanks for the time.
Thanks.
Great to see you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
George Wendt did a great job of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. The Cubs hammering the Mets tonight, 7-0. Well, these guys just graduated from St. John's School. Congratulations. And out here at the ballpark tonight.
Looks like they spelled all the letters correctly. Good sign.
Mike Cameron leading off the 8th. Thanks to George Wendt for stopping by. Interleague play, what do you think? Are you in on it in general?
In general, I am. I mean, there's some built-in inequalities. Some years you're going to play much better teams than some of the other teams in your division might play in interleague. But I think in general it has served its purpose. The idea was to generate a little more fan interest, to get people back into the ballparks, and I think certainly it has accomplished that. I've said right from the very beginning, the one thing I would change about interleague play are the rules. I think they should play National League rules in the American League ballparks, and vice versa. Use the DH in the National League parks so that the fans can really get a taste of what the other league is like.
Yeah, I like that idea. I guess the bottom line for me is I have no problem with it. If Bud Selig announced tomorrow that there would be no interleague play next year, I don't think I would lose sleep over it.
I think a lot of the players have enjoyed it to get an opportunity to see some ballparks that perhaps they would not normally get a chance to see. This year the Cubs getting an opportunity to play in Yankee Stadium. Of course, always a big thrill for a major league player to get to go to Yankee Stadium for the first time.
The Red Sox will come here the weekend before, as Cameron walks to lead off the 8th. The Toronto Blue Jays will also be here, and again the White Sox will come here, and the Cubs will play at U.S. Cellular Field as well. Well, I'll tell you what, Cubs playing the White Sox 6 times. I mean, they've been the best team in baseball to start the season.
A nice job here by Michael Barrett, just to go out there, let Michael Wirtz regroup a little bit. Pitching with a 7-run lead. The last thing you want to do is put runners on base for the middle of this Mets lineup. They are still very explosive, very capable of putting runs on the board in bunches. Take a deep breath, start over again.
Greg Maddux threw 100 pitches, 6 2/3, allowed 3 hits, no runs, struck out 10 tonight. Also walked 3. Trying to get his 307th career win. And Remlinger going to get ready in a hurry here.
Well, he should be fairly close. He was warming up last inning before Michael Wirtz came into the ball game. Shouldn't be too far away at this point.
Outside corner for a strike. Two off the foot of Wirtz. He has time and will get Beltran. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like he's all right.
Well, unlike the one that hit Chris Benson in the foot earlier in the ballgame, this appeared to be a direct hit. The ball just hits Wirtz in the foot and drops straight down right there on the front of the mound. Looked like it hit him on the inside of the left foot. He's able to regroup and get after that ball and throw Beltran out at first base. Looked like it hit him on the left heel, perhaps, hopefully at the bottom part of the shoe. The sole of the shoe is a very hard molded type of a plastic, and if it hits down near the bottom of the shoe, it'll absorb a lot of the impact. If it hits above that on the leather part of the shoe, obviously that's not going to be very cushioned.
And of course just an inch or 2 away from the ankle, which is where you don't want it. So Wirtz fortunate. Cameron now at second with 1 out, and ball 1 on Cliff Floyd. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Average still at a very healthy 346. It has gone down 10 points with the 0 for 3. Well, once you get through May, the batting averages don't change quite as much. Start building up those at bats. Start getting in the 200s. Not quite as volatile.
Yeah, that batting average can swing a lot in the early going of a season. A 4 for 5 night and you'll shoot up 125 points. An 0 for 5 night and you might lose 200 points in your average. But once you get up over a couple hundred at bats, like you said, you maybe lose a point a day or gain a point or 2 a day.
Another one up the middle. Perez was playing almost behind second. I mean, just perfectly positioned. If the Cubs are aligned straight up, Cliff Floyd has an RBI single.
Well, there you see Neifi Perez cheating over to the middle of the field. That ball's hit right over the rubber back up the middle of the field, and Perez is just standing right there, has time to gather and throw and still get Floyd by several steps at first base. Perfect positioning.
Ball 1 on Piazza. Michael Wirtz trying to preserve the shutout through 8. The pitch. 2-0. It's Minkevich on deck. Good slider from Wirtz. 2-1. Taking that one all the way. 2-2. Fly to center. No problem for Patterson. Mets strand a runner at third. And the Cubs will bat in the 8th. They're up 7.
Update.
Hi everyone, Pat Boyle inside our Cadillac Update studios. Here's a look at how the Southsiders are faring tonight. They're down in St. Petersburg. Sox and D-Rays, game 2 of that series. Taniguchi in the top of the 6th lays down the squeeze bunt. Joe Creedy comes in to score. White Sox deadlocked with the D-Rays 6-6, bottom of the 8th. We'll have the complete Sox story. And Sammy Sosa is not coming to town this week after all. I'll see you after the game on Sports Night. I'll send it back to Len and Bob at Wrigley.
Pat, thank you very much. 7-0 Cubs. 3 outs away from their second shutout of the year. And they're batting here in the 8th against Manny Ibar. Some changes for the Mets. Eric Valent is actually the new center fielder. And behind the plate is Ramon Castro for Piazza. So Beltran and Piazza are out.
Willie Randolph taking the opportunity to get a couple of his starters out of the lineup, trailing by 7 runs. Day game tomorrow after the night game tonight. Beltran and Piazza both with an opportunity to get on up to the clubhouse, get some treatments.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout. Du Bois with 2 RBIs, a home run. Second strikeout for him tonight. The Chicagoland Speedway Cubs upcoming schedule. Series will finish up tomorrow. And we're on WGN at 1 o'clock. Comcast Sportsnet Plus from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. Friday night, first of 3. Cubs will also play twice in Pittsburgh next week. So a 5-game road trip covering 6 days. Up the middle, hits second base. I'll tell you what, if Reyes is able to field it, he might have had a play. But it got past him, and Jerry Hairston with his second hit tonight.
Well, with the throwing arm that Reyes has, if he's able to barehand that ball and fire it across the infield, it at least would have been a close play at first. Perhaps a sign that the Cubs' luck has changed a little bit. Over the past week, that ball would have bounced right to Reyes for an easy throw across to first.
Todd Hollandsworth getting a pinch hitting appearance. Boy, look out, Corey Patterson. Standing in the on-deck circle. You always have to be paying attention, no matter what the angle is. Now, she can take a picture now, but not when the pitch is coming. That'd be a bad idea.
Put the camera and the beverage down. Have both hands ready just in case.
Another foul by Hollandsworth. This is one of those unwritten rules type of situation. Jerry Hairston, of course, runs well. Is at first. Normally, Doug Minkevich would be holding him on, but he's not in a 7-0 game. Well, why doesn't Hairston just take second? Well, because it's a 7-0 game. High drive to center. Valent will have an easy play.
And I think a lot of that has to do with what we were talking about earlier when Greg Maddux was in the game. I mean, we've seen the Cubs look flat offensively from time to time this year. Well, the Mets look very flat tonight. A lot of that had to do with the way Greg Maddux was throwing the ball, but with a 7-0 lead in the 8th inning, that's a very comfortable lead at this point. You don't want to do anything to rub your opponent's nose in it. Just swing the bats, run the bases, but don't do anything excessive at this point in the ball game.
I mean, if you had situations where you have a guy do something that you would rather not have him do, and just, I'm not saying he doesn't understand the situation, but may not agree that, you know, the game is out of reach, and then all of a sudden a situation occurs later. I'm sure you've had that happen. Don't have to name names or anything, but
no. Yeah, but it has happened. I'll tell you, back in my playing days in the mid to late 80s with the San Francisco Giants, we had some monumental brawls with the St. Louis Cardinals because we felt they were stealing bases in unnecessary situations, and
well, that's all they did.
That's all that was their game. And Whitey Herzog used to tell Roger Craig, if you guarantee me you're not going to try to score any more runs, we'll stop running. And it led to some on-field fisticuffs and some very bad blood between the two teams for several years there in the 80s, but just a completely different philosophy. They lived and died by the stolen base.
Corey Patterson strikes out to end the 8th. We will head to the 9th. Cubs will try to get the shutout. They lead. Well, long ball power, the Nissan drive. The Cubs with the home runs tonight, 4 of them. Corey Patterson with 2. We saw Jason DuBois. And then for good measure, Burnett's with a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. Manager loves that. Todd Hollandsworth stays in the game, plays left field. And Mike Remlinger on to close it out. Remlinger facing left-handed hitting Doug Minkiewicz. By the way, I just want to finish up the comment about the unwritten rules. What kind of gives away how the Mets are feeling about this one is that Minkiewicz wasn't holding Jerry Hairston on. That kind of is a sign to the Cubs, hey, we're not holding you on. Don't run.
Now, I got in trouble for some of those unwritten baseball rules back in my managing days. And it's very wide open to interpretation. You could talk to 100 different baseball people and they'd have 100 different ideas about the same situation. Depending on your background, how you've been taught the game at the major league level, who you had instructing you in the minor leagues, even going back to your high school and college days. Just the way you learn to play the game and respect your opponents.
Well, I won't give away names to protect the innocent or guilty, but I was in a big league clubhouse once talking about a situation that happened the night before where a guy ran, and a couple of broadcasters, both former players, a pitcher and a position player, and the one guy said he shouldn't have run, the other guy said why not, and it got really heated. It was a good discussion, but they both completely disagreed on what had happened the night before. Minkiewicz shooting this one down the line, and that is foul.
Well, the one I really got in a sling for was in San Diego. Curt Schilling is in the 8th inning of a no-hitter. And Ben Davis, the catcher for the Padres, attempted to bunt for a base hit, popped it up to the right side of the infield. It fell in front of Jay Bell. He couldn't make a play at first. It was ruled a base hit. I was always taught you don't bunt to break up a no-hitter after the 5th inning. Now, that's the way I was taught. Obviously, Ben Davis was taught differently. And it was a 1-run game at the time, so a lot of the people who were defending Ben Davis were saying, oh, that's a great move, Actually, it was a 2-run game. It was 2-0. Brings the tying run to the plate. That was a smart move on his part. And my counter to that was, if it's such a smart move, why is it the first time he's ever bunted for a base hit in his life? And for the rest of the year, every time he came up in the same situation, then he should bunt.
Right.
But he didn't. That was probably the only time in his life he ever attempted to bunt for a base hit.
It wasn't a good bunt either, was it?
No, he popped it up just over Schilling's head, and it kind of checked up in the infield grass, and Jay Bell tried to come in and make a barehanded play, couldn't get it, and the no-hitter was gone. And I had some rather unsavory comments at the time, and it was an ongoing discussion for several weeks. People were talking about unwritten rules in baseball, and what are they and why are they?
2-2 on Minkiewicz. And he's going to step out.
I think I would have felt differently if it had been Juan Pierre. That's a very big part of his game. But it's not part of Ben Davis's game.
So in your estimation, he was simply trying to break up the no-hitter as Minkiewicz strikes out.
Well, that's kind of the way I saw it. And as I said, as I was coming up through the minor leagues and the big leagues, as you get a look at strike three to Minkiewicz here, nice change up, down and in. You know, you break up a no-hitter with a base hit, with a clean hit. Swing away. But I guess, you know, if you're on the Padres side of the field, we've been doing that all night. We don't have a hit yet.
Right.
We have to try something else. Well, I think that's what makes this game the greatest game of all. You can argue for days and days over one little play. I mean, the argument has gone on for generations. Who's the best center fielder of all time? Mays. No, Mantle. No, Duke Snyder. I mean, it just has never changed.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Chris Woodward. Here's a pitch. Outside. Not by much.
Boy, Mike Remlinger with pinpoint control tonight, just off the outside corner with that fastball.
Fouled away.
Scoots it over a little bit there, gets the swinging foul. Probably has Woodward set up for a changeup here. That's been Remlinger's go-to pitch with 2 strikes. Faded out of the strike zone, tried to get him to swing over the top of it. There it was, just didn't get it down quite far enough.
Hey, before we forget, happy birthday to Andy Mazer with WGN Radio and the Cubs broadcast crew. He's a little down today. I mean, 38. I don't get it. He's still a young man. But happy birthday to Mays, as we call him. There he is. And Ron Santo wants everyone to know that, yeah, he's still single. Just a reminder. Yeah, the clock's ticking.
That looks like a piano bar over there in that booth. What in the world they got going on over there?
Yeah, Ron knows what we're talking about because we showed Andy. He knows. 3-2. Swing and a miss. That time he got him on the changeup. 2 down here in the 9th.
Such a good pitch when the pitcher's ahead of the hitter. He's got to be defensive, has to be thinking about protecting the plate. Sees the arm action, thinks fastball all the way, and that pitch just floats up there on the edge of the strike zone.
Ball 1 on Matsui. Bouncer to Nafee. And the Cubs with their second shutout of 2005. Remlinger with a 1-2-3 ninth. Greg Maddux with his 307th career win, number 114 as a Cub. Everything went right tonight for a team that hadn't gotten any breaks, hadn't been scoring runs, had been taxing its bullpen, and all smiles from the Cubs tonight. Yeah, Cubs win. Our Hyundai player of the game, Greg Maddux. We said it early, the starting pitcher sets the tone.
It's hard to remember the 3 hits that he gave up. The 3 walks, most of them it appeared he was pitching around hitters. 10 strikeouts, a great indication that he had it all working tonight. He had the command, he had the change of speeds. And the Mets hitters tied up in knots tonight.
So a combined 3-hitter tonight. Maddux, Wirtz, and Remlinger. 38,813 witnessed it tonight. 2 hours 27 minutes. Chuck Garfien standing by in the field with Corey Patterson.
All right, Corey Patterson, 2 home runs tonight.